when you get older, sometimes you just have to adjust to life. I grew up in part of my life in Memphis, Texas, and part in Clarendon, Texas. 4 brothers, and 2 of them were pretty close to my age. We were all victims of the Depression, and then the Second World War came along and people began to make more money. There wasn't anything to do in those little towns, and we didn't have TV then, and so we went to the movies a lot. So I guess that's the reason I thought I wanted to be a movie star. My friend Arjune was always Betty Grable, and I was Lana Turner when we played. I guess in my own family, I was probably the strongest one because it seemed like I always got all the tasks to do that nobody else wanted to do. Taking care of my mother and making sure that she had what she needed after my daddy died and all that kind of stuff. She would say funny things without really sometimes meaning for them to be funny, and Melissa and John both thought she was hilariously funny because of all the old quaint sayings she'd use. She'd say things like something was so funny it'd make a dog laugh. I've always tried to tell my kids I love them and all that. I'm proud of both of them. And I told Melissa that you didn't dance or anything to religious music. I was in the kitchen cooking and she came running in there and saying, just real mad, "Mommy, Susan's in there jazzing up, 'Yes, Jesus Loves Me.'" And when I said, "What do you mean jazzing it up?" she said, "Well, she's saying, 'Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me.'" And I said, "Melissa, what were you doing while she was jazzing up, 'Yes, Jesus loves me'?" And she said, "Oh, I was just down in the floor acting like a normal child." Very precocious little girl and very smart, which she still is. Well, he was a real sweet little boy, and he was always smiling, and he was real pleasant every morning, and we used to go to the garage sales on Friday morning, he and I did, just to see what we could see, and he'd stroll in there when he was big enough to talk and tell the people, "Well, good morning, are you selling anything?" Well, the toughest thing was probably losing Matthew. He died when he was 11 months old after being in the hospital for 94 days. And that was, I think we just locked it away, and it's very hard to think about. But losing Joe was as bad. Well, Joe's twin sisters were going to Clarendon Junior College while he was gone to the Marines and in Korea, and they kept telling me that their brother was fixed to come home and they wanted me to meet him because they would come by my office downtown and stop in there and talk to me. I knew he came home, and he was kind of a cowboy, and I never had gone with cowboy types. So I really wasn't very interested, but then one day he walked in there at noon and wanted to know if I wanted to go to coffee with him after I got off work. And so we just started going together. He just was a nice person, and you just like somebody when you meet them sometimes. Well, he said, "Are you going to marry me or not?" I said, "Well, I guess so." You were about 2.5 years old or something, but I think you were born talking. You were sitting on the piano keys, going back and forth on them with your feet on the stool, and so I told you you had to get down from there like that and just sit on it nice if you were going to play on it for a while. And so I went back in there, and then you started that again. So I came in there and made you get down, and I shut the piano. And you backed up against the wall and put your hands behind you, and you leaned towards me and said, "I don't like you. I don't want you to ever come to see us again, and I'm never coming to see you again." And I said, "Okay, that's fine with me. That's what we'll do. But would you like some soup, some chicken noodle soup?" And you said, "Oh yeah," and got me by the hand and just happily strolled into the kitchen. You were both always together after Daisy got here. He was more reserved about everything, I thought, or quieter. Well, I think Madison's a real cute, sweet little girl, and I'm proud of her, and I think she's talented. She's got good parents, and I think she has good grandparents. I think we've about covered it.